A lot of people out there feeling incomplete, feeling empty, feeling lost. Why do we feel incomplete? It happens to all of us, honestly. When you're living life, when you incarnate, when you're born into this physical reality, into this earth plane, it's inevitable that something feels off, you feel a little lost at times, you feel incomplete. And then the natural inclination for everyone is to try and fill this gaping hole within with external stuff. Because it's like, how could you not go and seek something outside here? Because it's all very real to us, isn't it? You're born here, and then from when you're a baby and grow into a little kid and then an adolescent, that whole conditioning process, that whole learning process, parents and family and friends and playing and all that little shit that we do, it's getting you prepared to interact with this physical reality. And so then you start buying into it more and more and more, and then it's only natural after a period of time to seek yourself in it, to seek, your salvation in a way in it. And so then you learn these ideas over time. I have to find a partner, I have to get married, I have to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a special someone. I have to find a job, right? Like my perfect job, my perfect relationship, my perfect physical reality, my perfect setting it up in a way that looks nice based on my own idiosyncratic wants and desires. Because perfection, the physical, outside, and how it looks for you is gonna look different for everyone. Sure, there's similarities and places where these ideas merge and overlap, right? Having stuff, having some nice things. Well, some things you might not find as nice as other things to someone else. Whatever. Personal likes and dislikes. But everybody has. There's no escaping it. Your likes and your dislikes and your conditioned wants and desires. That's what it means to be a human. That's what it means to be, conditioned and egoic in a way. But then what happens now is that, I don't know, do you get bored? You don't find fulfillment? You don't feel special? You don't feel recognized or noticed? You don't feel important? You don't feel like you make a difference, like you matter? You feel weak? You feel lost? What's my purpose? Why am I here? All these questions, everyone asks these questions, is inevitable. It is the existential nature of life. You ask these questions, everybody does, or else you're not awake. You're not here. You're not lights on, I guess. Even someone that's like I say, lights on, nobody home, they still kind of ask these questions because they're funneling themselves through these desires, so they're obviously wanting to appease a desire. I got to get some money. Okay. I mean, that's the number one thing we get lost in is money. It is. Because if I have money, then I buy things. And if I have things, then I'm better. If I have money, I have freedom. That's a better way of looking at it. If I have money, then I can pick and choose how I exist more freely. You're still not free until you've liberated yourself internally, until you've found this thing that you're looking for, this part of you that completes you. It's like, remember Jerry Maguire? You complete me. And we made a whole big thing about it. It's a meme now, basically, right? You complete me. So Renee Zellweger completes Jerry Maguire. What was her name? I don't remember her name. Tom Cruise and Renee. So oh, it's so romantic, isn't it? Oh my God, she completes me. And guys, this is what's happening. There's so many people that are lost in this idea of thinking another person is going to complete them. It's going to add to them and fill them up. that someone comes into your space, someone associates themselves with you, and now you are more full. You can prop yourself up now on top of them. It's kind of weird. It's weird that it's this thing that we do. And guys, I'm not casting shade. I fell into this trap too. It is a trap. That's why the extreme end of it is like extreme codependency and like weird, needy behaviors that happen, man. You know, and then if you have traumas, right? Like there's like the attachment styles in relationships, right? Like you're needy because you have an abandonment complex. Okay. You know, so like an early trauma, you know, like you were an orphan, your mom left you, your dad left you, you had an early relationship, someone abandoned you, whatever. And now you're carrying that through life, and now you're finding completion in another person when you yourself are already whole, but you don't recognize that. Why? Because you're too busy funneling yourself through your mind, and your mind has made up this imaginary idea that you need someone. And it's so common in our culture, in our society, in whatever, how we're living, movies and TV shows, and like, oh, this is just what everybody's looking for. And we've normalized it so much that now if you try and break away from that labeling that we've been doing, you're kind of insane. Well, how could you be so detached? How could you not want to be married? How could you not want to have kids? How could you not, right? And yeah, we're kind of slowly, gradually growing out of that mentality a little bit. More and more people are realizing there's an illusory aspect to these things. I'm not saying don't have the relationships, don't have the job, don't have the money. I'm not saying those things. I'm saying, like with everything I'm saying, do not lose yourself in it. And that's part of the tricky part of this is you don't know when or how or why you have lost yourself in something and what that looks like. The easiest way to tell, right, is with addiction. Addiction literally means you are losing yourself to this thing, behavior, object, whatever you're addicted to. It's like one little focal point on the physical plane. It can be anything, like I say, guys. You can be a workaholic. You can be a sexaholic. You can like drugs, a whole variety of drugs we have. God doesn't limit us. God's like, hey, man, there's like infinite drugs, man, anything. Whatever you want, you can turn into a drug. Food, like for me. Food addiction, sex addiction, shopaholic. Anything in the physical world can be turned into an addiction. And now, what is happening? You are seeking yourself in it, and now you don't know how to detach from it, and then now that runs your life. That thing that's so fucking important, oh my God, I would die without it. That's how it feels when you're addicted. It's just tumultuous, torturous, kind of like it's always pulling at you. It's always dragging you along. You have literally given your power to it. It's got you by the balls. Well, every other aspect of life that you're not addicted to, that also has you by the balls. Just in the way you frame it, just in the way you look at yourself through it. Like, that's what achieving is. That's what, going for it is. We have this whole compulsive need to achieve, to better ourselves through achieving. And what are you achieving? You're like, I got the promotion, I got more money, I got more things, I got more. And you think, and what you're doing is you're building up layers upon layers upon layers of external illusory things to this self. And you're propping it up. That's why the ego is so insecure, because, hey man, I need more stuff so that I can look bigger, right? And then we even have it manifest as physical. I got it like a guy, he's taking the roids. He's got to get buffed up. He's got to get bigger. That's the masculine, extreme end of insecurity and projecting the bigger. It's a physical bigger now. Well, we have the bigger with power too. Illusory power, like I have lots of stuff. I'm so powerful. And then now, if that person were to lose their things, well, where are they going to derive their power from? I mean, think about it, guys. Like the Great Depression, during that stock market crash, how many people killed themselves because they lost all their stuff? It was like, all those people were attached. They're like, oh no, I'm ruined. Me, the most infinite spark of God that I am, the soul that I am, the soul's ruined now, I guess, because my physical reality's changed dramatically. And so what we're all doing with all this stuff, we're trying to fill ourselves because we don't recognize the fullness of our being. And like, so I say, like, you're not filling yourself. It's just wordplay, right? When I'm saying you're filling yourself, you're not. More accurately, like I've said in a lot of my videos, you're unmasking yourself, you're uncovering yourself, because you already are perfect and whole. And all it is mental attachments that you're making, illusory assumptions and expectations and labels in your mind about how your life should or shouldn't play out, that you're attaching yourself to, that's on top of you, that you have to break the bondage of. You're a slave, man. You're a slave to stuff. You're a slave to life situations. You're a slave to the perfect job and the perfect wife and the perfect husband and the perfect car and the perfect money and the perfect vacation and the perfect experience and the perfect sex and the perfect anything. And you think it's all going to be so perfect, and you're just chasing, and it's never going to be perfect. You're already perfect. And all you're doing is just like consuming. Mindless consumption. Mindless consuming. A fucking zombie. That's all we're doing. Complete, utter retardation. Lost. Yeah. I need more stuff. Why? Well, because when I have that thing, I'm going to feel better. Why? Why is that thing making you feel better? Have you even stopped to ask you? It's such a basic thing. Why is that thing making you feel better? Why does that thing have power over your own internal disposition? Think about it, guys. This thing, right? Like here, I have my water bottle. Okay? It could be any, this is a car, this is whatever. I bought this water bottle. Look how shiny and new it is. It's a water. Woo, woo, woo! I am so fucking excited. I got this new water bottle. And now it's like I'm going to stuff it up my ass and make it a part of me. That's what we're doing. This water bottle is me. Like, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to consume it. Right? It's all it is, consumption. Well, then when you're not busy consuming, you're incomplete, aren't you? The consuming causes this like frenzied, like, I gotta eat it all. Like I say, lust for more. So lustful. And it's not even sexual, man. Lust is, saying, man, when you're busy deriving your sense of self from the external, it can be anything. That is lust. That is lust. It's not just sexual, man. The lust is the same as idolatry. That's what it is. You're basically, through giving yourself to this thing, the water bottle, oh, it's so great. You're worshiping it, aren't you? It's like we do with celebrities, we worship them. Well, you're turning every physical aspect of your life that's so much better, that completes you in moments, and you're bouncing from one thing to the next. The new car, I just got the new car, yay. Well, that gets boring, and then now, I went and I ate this fancy meal. Oh, that was nice experience. Ooh, I'm so important, I feel great. And you're bouncing from one thing to the next, filling. And then when you're not doing those things, you're empty and devoid of yourself. You're empty. You're alone in your room at night. You're at home and you're bored out of your fucking mind. And you're like empty and like apathetic and depressed as fuck. And why? Because the promise of fulfillment lies in the external world. God geniusly hid it. He hid it from us within. He's like, hey man, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create this like most elaborate play, this fucking theater, right? The show, right? Like Major League Baseball, you arrive at the show, right? This is the big show. I'm gonna get them. They're gonna be born. It's all physical. It's all physical. And then like all along, the magic, the alchemy, the magician, the mysticism, the oh wow, the awesomeness of life. It's in front of them, hidden in plain sight in every waking moment of their lives, but they just don't know how to look and find it because, like I say, your attention, your focus is outside all the time, outside all the time. And so what you're doing by doing the meditation and the prayer is you're cutting it at its root and you're focusing it inside. You're 99% outside. The only time the average Joe notices inside is when something feels off, like they feel pain, they're like, like something. They have a headache, whatever. Now the body forces you to bring attention to your internal self. You're like, oh, I got to go to the doctor, man. Something feels off, right? That's the 1% of the time that you actually are aware of your internal state of being. Or like, let's say you have a panic attack and like you have this like hyperactive fear that's like emerging and that's like taking you over. Yeah, you're going to notice it then too, aren't you? But you don't make space, for the love, the platform, the peace, the bliss that you are. You don't pay attention to that enough. And so all you're doing is you're eating. You're out there eating. That's good food, man. That's good. That's good shit. It can be anything. Oh, this social media stuff. Oh, it's so entertaining, so funny. Okay. Yeah, like I like a good laugh like anyone else, man. But I'm not gonna sit there and devote hours of my life to it like I once did. No fucking way. No way. No, man. Guys, this is what happens now. You're doing the social media a lot, and a lot of people are like, "What?" It's like they recognize it. What the fuck am I even doing? And because you're constantly comparing yourself and judging and comparing and judging, this very nasty aspect of yourself becomes like super hyperactive, and then your entire lens becomes that, and of course, eventually that egoic, weak, fearful, insecure entity is gonna be bored and feel incomplete. It is its very nature. Your truest self, your most magnetic, charismatic, full self isn't out here feeling incomplete, man. It's so powerful in its isness, its suchness, its beingness, consciousness, awareness, self, that like it instinctively, intuitively is already the self that is full without needing extraneous shit. That's all it is. That's and I've touched on all of the stuff I'm talking about in this video throughout my videos, all of my past videos. You know how many people go on YouTube and they'll type in, "What is my purpose?" Well, why do you ask the question, "What is my purpose?" I feel lost. Why do you feel lost? Because you haven't found yourself. It's like you think your purpose is just some job or a career or something you're gonna do. Okay? Well, you're gonna do your job for 8 hours a day. What are you doing with the other 16 hours of your day? Isn't it natural that, like, if I derive my entire sense of self from my job, that I do 8 hours a day, then the rest of the time that I'm not feeling complete in a purpose, that I'm gonna not be complete in my. So it's like I'm really bored now. I guess I'll watch Netflix or something to pass the time till I go back to my job to earn money to keep this whole hamster wheel cycle of sustenance and consumption going, I guess. How silly. There's a better way to live, guys. There's a better way to live. There's a better, more easy, free way to live. We can all have it. But we're all way too bought into this physical reality to realize that. And that's part of a lot of people's karma, is the attachment and the greed and the need and the lust for more. And it doesn't matter what the more is. And so, like, guys, all of these realizations, all of this stuff, it's a very advanced stuff, you know? Like, your entry-level soul that comes in and is just fully bought into this physical reality, they're going to have a hard time because they haven't learned the core spiritual lessons along the way of their soul's evolution through many lives. And any soul, even if it's a brand new soul, has the seed of wisdom in it. You know, God can wake it up whenever it wants to. It's like if it was formulaic, if it was like every soul must incarnate 5,000 times and then in the 5,000th life they realize it. No, it's not linear like that. You can have 3 lives and wake up. You can have 5,000 million lives and wake up finally. Doesn't matter. All of that's illusory anyway, the way we're labeling it to begin with. But what I'm saying is, the degree to which somebody is bought into the physical reality, the degree to which they're lost and insecure and like seeking validation and needing these things, and needing a job and everybody needs a job to live, right? And that's why it's a catch-22. The degree to which you're lost in these things tells you where you are on your soul's evolution and how by the balls it's gotten you. And I say it's a catch-22 with this work is you need the work to make the money to support yourself, right? And so that's why you see on social media a lot of this like conflict within people struggling, right? The middle class is being squeezed, and now it's more and more rich and less middle class and more poor. And we have inflation accelerating and all these different things, right? And these things are obviously needed, and they're happening for a reason. Why? Because that struggle, that physical struggle, is gonna wake people up faster to the idea of coming together and creating peace on earth. And most people think it's illusory or impossible. It'll never be. It can be, guys. It can be. We're headed there. If we don't, we're going to destroy ourselves in the earth. The earth doesn't really ever truly get destroyed, but it'll wipe us out, that's for sure. Collapse, you know, like all of the things that sustain us, all of these things that we're this chain of life. We're breaking these bonds that support us, that sustain us. You know, like we have the modern supply chain of economics and consumerism, globalism. How are you going to have globalism and consumerism and, you know, economy, sustenance for the globe, if the very supply chains that support everything are broken? It's going to happen, man. If you're having natural disasters popping up everywhere, if you're having climate change and like all kinds of crazy shit happening, and wars and famines and energy prices soaring and, you know, water becoming a problem, if you're having all these things, there's no balance, there's no normality now. It's just nothing but like just spikes of crisis. And now there's going to be multiple more and more crises. It's inevitable. We're headed on that trajectory. We see it. And most people are there trying to put their heads in the sand. They're like, oh, I don't know, it's going to start getting scary, I guess. Yeah, well, I mean, of course. If you're like super afraid of dying, you're like, oh no, I don't know what's going to happen. Wars and all kinds of, oh. Yeah, it's natural. You're so afraid of this dying in this one life, that this is the one life that you only get. Yeah, you're bought into that. It takes an extreme level of detachment and borderline insanity to not truly be afraid of your death. That's okay. Some people get there, some people don't. It's okay. Like I say, most people aren't afraid of the death itself necessarily. Some are. Most people are afraid of a painful death, of a suffering death. You don't want to endure pain. It's like if you get in a car accident and you're dead in an instant, yeah, it doesn't really bother you so much, right? But some long, drawn out, torturous death, yeah, that terrifies you. You don't want to feel nothing but pain on the horizon for months and years on end. That would be fucking scary, of course. Because you're like, oh, I can't escape the pain. Why do I have all this pain? Nothing but pain. Well, guys, you're already creating pain for yourself and suffering for yourself while you're busy living. You're just not recognizing it. You're not understanding what's going on. Everyone out here is hurt, man. Hurt people hurting people. Everyone out here is that. Most, 99%, perpetuating the cycle of suffering. Because we like to consume. Thousands of years ago, we didn't have this hyper-consumerist thing. You know, like sustenance and being was much closer because there wasn't a lot of extraneous shit like there is today. It was like you had a herd of goats or something, you know, in a village. There was no electricity. You had like campfires and you were walking a lot, and you know, it was like sometimes a struggle just to get water or food. You know, things weren't as fully abundant as they are now. So now it's like it was natural to be more of a scarcity mindset. Where's my next meal going to come from? Now there's so much abundance that we're on that extreme end of the spectrum. We had to, as humanity, we had to experience both ends of that spectrum and then finally bring it into balance. That even with all this super overwhelming abundance, having stuff, we still just use enough. And that sounds insane. It's like, well, why wouldn't I want the most rich and lavish, extravagant lifestyles of the rich and famous lifestyle for myself if I could have that? Because it loses its appeal when you realize that none of the physical reality has any power over you anymore. Sure, temporarily, I might want to go and have a little luxurious trip. I go to like some 5-star hotel resort for a week and it was nice, yay. But I'm not like, oh man, I gotta make my whole life look this way. I gotta bounce from one place to the other. And if I'm not having a vacation and if I'm not like some, you know, like travel influencer, then I'm not cool. We extrapolate way too much shit out of this, man. We inflate ourselves. This is an arrogant, vain, vanity-based reality. We're like a balloon. We're just blowing up the balloon and making it bigger, bigger, and bigger before it eventually pops. Why does it pop? Suffering. You're blowing it up. You're blowing it up. Every breath that you blow into the balloon is you trying a new experience, you looking for yourself in a new experience. And each time you try it, it keeps blowing it up. And then you're like, fuck, I've tried 50 different experiences and they all aren't it. Why aren't they it? Well, because you haven't found yourself, obviously. That's the whole point of this channel. And then I'm going to tell you guys that this self is God, and that you are God, and that God is everything, and that you are everything. That is basically what it boils down to. You're like, well, God's everything, so I can look in the external. No. You can. Like, what happens now is a byproduct of you resting in yourself is an appreciation for the external, a gratitude for it, but I have a firm boundary in which I'm not going to get lost in it anymore. I refuse to give my power to some external thing. It doesn't matter what it is. A woman, right? I'm single. I could have the most magnificent creature of a woman come into my life, and she will never dictate to me my own internal state of being ever. And in that place, I'm more attractive because I'm not a needy bitch anymore like I used to be, projecting all my insecurities onto the relationship and weird, sappy, insecure shit all the time. Or the opposite end of the spectrum where I'm super macho and I'm so cool and I'm such an arrogant prick that I treat the woman like shit. You see what I'm saying? There's balance to these polarities, man, within relationships. So, okay, I'm not saying like I wouldn't like a woman to come. Fine, if I'm supposed to have a partner, she comes in and then yay, we create the most magnificent life together. But I want her to be her own person and me to be my own person, and we're just complementing each other in life. We're just having fun. It isn't this whole like, I need you, don't leave me. If you leave me, I'm gonna die kind of shit. What happens today, man? We get all kinds of fucked up and twisted over this shit, man. They come in and they take up shop and they infiltrate your soul, man. It's not a way to be. And so you have to experience that to learn that lesson sometimes. But like, you're never gonna find your completeness, guys. You're always gonna feel off and wondering what am I doing? Because like, it doesn't matter. Like, oh, you just found your perfect career, oh, you're still empty. You just found your relationship, it doesn't matter what the thing is. And so then you can focus on just one thing. You're like, I'm gonna eat myself to death, like I did. You're like, I'm gonna make my purpose just eating lots of delicious foods. But then when I'm not eating, I'm always thinking about the food. And then when I'm not eating, I want to eat more. And then you're overeating, then you get fat, and then like your physical suffers as a result of it. And now you're suffering, and now you're crying, and now you're sad, and now you're pathetic because you made this one aspect of life, consuming food, the end all be all. And a lot of people out there are fat and lazy and sorry, like I was. This is a very common thing today with so much abundance with food. There weren't so many fat people back in the day, guys, thousands of years ago. You ate just what you had to eat. It was just like it wasn't like, am I gonna have Cheetos or Doritos or McDonald's or Burger King, or it wasn't like, there weren't fucking fast food places on the corner. You weren't going to grocery stores and buying shit that was already prepared for you. Man, that life back then was way more radical. You guys were so detached from how that was that we don't appreciate these things now today. How much more scarce food was, and basic sustenance and water and living was. Life was a lot harder back then, man. Everything was effort. You're gonna wash some clothes. You don't just pop it in a fucking washer and dryer. No, you're scrubbing clothes by the river, or like, yeah, this is a whole fucking drawn out process. Time consuming, right? Well, now that everything is so easy, effortless, we're not consuming so much time doing all these menial tasks. We have so much more free time. Well, what are you going to do with that free time? Well, you're just going to be busy bouncing from one thing to the next. And there's no satisfaction there, man. It is a carrot on a stick. You're always chasing, and it sucks. Yeah, you can lose yourself in it for a day or two, a week or two, a month or two, a year or two. Yeah. I used to play video games a lot, and I would spend months and years of my I just video games, and that's a very easy way to lose yourself today. And a new game, and then like a whole new mental landscape to immerse yourself in. Very virtual. Very easy to lose yourself today, man. And that's why there's this. It's reaching a crisis tipping point. This depression and anxiety and angsty kind of energy on the planet, and just socially, culturally, societally. And that's why we're all hyper aware of how angsty we all are. And we're looking, and we're not drawing the correct conclusion of what's really going on. Like, it's the government's fault, it's society's fault, it's this is fault, everyone else's fault but your own. So the victim comes in. Well, once you get rid of the victim, you're like, I have power, I'm left with myself. Now I can pick and choose what I give my power to. And how liberating is that finally when you get there?